Welcome to the Gridiron Insight. I'm your host, Marcus Dent, better known as Big Cuz. And look, we got a hell of a show for you tonight. Got a hell of a show for you tonight. But before we go any further, just help us out. Hit that like button, man. Subscribe. We're gonna try to keep bringing you this content, man. We need you guys' help out there. Just so we can keep the content coming to you. Before I go any further, I'm gonna introduce my guy from the College Hall of Fame, Mr. Jason Watkins. What's going on, Jason?
What's up, Big Cuz? Thanks for having me on, man.
Oh man,
I'm
it's
ready for
awesome.
this one. This is gonna be a fun one, man. This is gonna be a fun one right here.
Oh, it's been the talk
It
of the
has.
last, I want to say the last part of the recruiting cycle. And the talk is, FCS players making a jump to FBS. 349, I think what ESPN said, 349 FCS players are going to be on FBS rosters. Crazy. So, like I said, man, let's talk about it, man. Let's just break this thing all the way down, man, and just let people understand that some fan bases. We're gonna talk about fan bases here for a second before we get on into it. Some fan bases, when they see the kid come from FCS to their program, they want that 4-star kid. But you getting a kid from an FCS, man, that kid is already seasoned. He's already been through a whole lot, and that's why they're digging into the portal and getting these guys. We talked about it plenty of times on your show when Oklahoma offered Giovanni Gibson. Man, it was so much backlash. It was crazy.
It
You
was.
know, and you told him, man, you set him straight. You was like, hey, look, man, can't do that. Can't do that. Um,
And this
you
is why
know,
you can't do it right
and
here.
this is why you can't do it right here.
This is why you
You
can't
know,
do it right here.
I mean, you
Jared
talking about
Verse. Jared Verse
uh,
came from if you think
he,
about this cat, man, just
man,
Jared
dude,
Verse was a guy that, and look at Cam Ward. I mean, he came out of Incarnate Word. He goes to
yeah,
Washington State and lights it up. He goes out there and has almost 5,000 total yards this year. Heisman finalist.
and
Jared Verse.
Scatterboo, man, I don't even want to talk about him
Oh,
too. I
bro,
mean, come on,
Scotty almost
Scatterboo, a dude, man.
20, 25, 27 touchdowns or whatever on the either with the receiving touchdowns or rushing touchdowns, 1,700 yards rushing. He had like what was it? 600 yards receiving. I mean, it's just stupid. And then you could look at Jared Verse. He came out of Albany a couple years ago, goes to
Right,
Florida State, and he just became rookie of the year.
rookie of the year, man. And you seeing guys like McLaughlin from I think he went to Youngtown State, and he ended up at Ohio State,
He did.
and now he's in the league doing this thing. But this is one thing people are not looking at. The reason why these kids are making a jump is because they have film
Mhm.
and they have productivity. Those are two things a high school player does not have. They don't have the film from a college level. They don't have the productivity. A 4-3 is a 4-3 all day long. I don't care if you run in FCS, Division 3, it doesn't matter. A 4-3 is a 4-3. If you
Yeah.
can make a difficult catch is a difficult catch.
Well, that's what we were talking about when you talk about Giovanni Gibson. And for anybody who watched the John Mateer interview from yesterday, he he was talking about. He goes, "Man, that guy is unreal. He runs great routes. He's able to get himself open, and he just goes up with power and speed and wants to get
No
that
doubt.
football. He's after the football like you know like no others." Welcome into the show, Kimberly K and R Moosehead. You guys, thank you for coming
Hey,
in.
appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for
Appreciate you
coming
guys
in.
dropping in.
Yeah.
And and Jason, you gotta realize the hunger level of the FCS kids. Their hunger level is out there. I mean, they're hungry. They're hungry for
Well, you were talking
um
about that before, right? It was like
I
some
mean,
of
they're
these
just
guys, they
hungry.
were they were getting paid real good and they were eating good, but
Right.
these other cats were coming in and they hadn't really had their opportunity yet, right? To
I
get
mean,
eat.
it's a difference between wanting to eat and being hungry. You want to eat, you just go to the cabinet and you go get you something because you want to eat.
Yeah.
You being hungry, man, you'll eat anything. You eat a damn mayonnaise sandwich. And there's a big ass difference when it comes to that, man. And these guys are being able to put this stuff on tape and say, hey, look, this is what I could do. And we don't even want to talk about, just recent first rounders. They've had some first rounders, man. You've had Carson Wentz, you had Cromartie out of Tennessee State, you had Joe Flacco out of Delaware, Trevor Penning out of Northern Iowa, and you had Titus Howard out of Alabama State. These are just recent guys that actually went first round, which is,
Well,
I mean,
Marcus,
it's
you start
crazy.
thinking about the SWAC and T.O., Jerry Rice, all the, those early Chiefs teams that we were talking about with Otis Taylor and all that stuff. Those dudes, every one of them pretty much came from the SWAC. Almost all of them.
FCS,
All of those
yeah.
Hall of Famers. All of those Hall of Famers.
Well, you
Walter
look
Payton.
at
Walter Payton
Walter
from the
Payton.
SWAC.
Hey, look, man, got Steve McNair on the wall right here, man. But here's my thing. This is what I want these young athletes to understand. Because you don't get that Power Five offer does not mean that your day you won't make it there. In 2019, only 6% of FBS rosters were made up out of transfers. According to ESPN, in 2023, it had already risen to over 20%. I don't know what it is right in, this year coming up, but these are numbers, these are factual numbers that you can go look up and say, "Hey, look, man, what's going on?" And
Yeah.
and what's going on? You taking a high school kid who's young, he hasn't been in the weight room, he hasn't had that steady balance of school, responsibility, all that kind of stuff. And these guys have already had that. So you're going to get a more ready-made product.
Right.
You're going to get a ready-made product. And so if you take 300 and some kids that were playing FCS last year, playing FBS, and then what is it, the JUCO Association reported that they have 338 kids that played JUCO last year that's at FBS schools. Man, we're talking over 700 kids, and we ain't even talking about all the rest of the part of the NCAA.
Well, you know, and shout out to Zach McKinnell in the comments. He's from the Blue Bloods, and so he covers FCS football most of the time. He said he's locked in on this one. That there's this FCS talent is legit. He tells people all the time. I go on there on the I go on there with him and Kobe Orr. They cover SWAC and MEAC and FCS all around the country, and whenever you started talking about Giovanni Gibson, I hit up Kobe about him, and he had made a video about him being the best player in the SWAC on the offensive side of the ball, and that they shouldn't
Yes,
screw him
sir.
over. And of course, he didn't get the Player of the Year in the SWAC, but that's what Kobe was talking about. But these guys have
Mhm.
talked about it a bunch, and they literally cover the sport full time, and that's what their show's about. For these
You
guys, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I just for these guys, they understand that you're starting to see more and more with the portal and everything else. You're seeing more of these guys get opportunities to go to that next level. And
Mhm.
so we were just talking to the kid yesterday out in New Mexico that that you were trying to help,
Yeah.
and he's going to that smaller school. But that's what we told his mom yesterday. Was like, look, he's the right size kid. He's big. He's strong. Get in that weight program and nutrition. Go ball out for a year. See what happens.
Man, you just last year going into this year, Alabama A&M lost three guys to the FBS. Alcorn State lost one kid. Alabama State lost two kids. Arkansas Pine Bluff lost three. Tennessee Chat lost eight.
Yeah.
Grambling lost three. Hampton lost three. But let me give you this number. Idaho lost 17. They lost 17 kids to the FBS. North Carolina A&T had 5, but I'm finna knock y'all down with this number. South Dakota State had 21 kids that were on their roster last year that'll be on a D1 P14
You
this
know
year.
why? Zach will
Because the
say
coach left.
Well, yeah, and Blue will tell
he
you
took
right
half
now.
of them with him.
He said most of those teams that make it deep in those FCS playoffs, they would beat the hell out of most of those G5 schools.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Beat
they
the
would.
hell out of them.
They would, and he took a lot of those kids with him. You know, 21 kids off of one team. Let's go back to, I think Trey Lance was.
James Madison last year or 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Same deal.
yeah. You take I think Trey Lance was that 2021 class at North Dakota State. Well, here's the deal with that class.
Oh, Trey Lance, and then you had Carson Wentz, obviously, that came out of that
Right,
group as
right.
well.
But
Right,
let me
right,
give
right.
you a crazy stat about them. They had 10 of their 11 offensive players sign an NFL contract. Now, I'm not saying all of them had to stay in power, but you don't have a lot of FBS schools that sign 11 guys on one side of the ball. Whether it's getting drafted or whether it's free agent or whatever the situation is, you don't have that many people on most teams. Southern Miss don't have 11 kids. I can guarantee you that. Arkansas State don't have that. I can guarantee you that. So going to a FCS or a JUCO is not the tell all. Tell all. You got opportunity to do a hell of a lot more. I hate to jump back to Giovanni. He's just somebody that we know, we talk to a whole lot. But
Right.
but here's
Well,
the
go back
thing with him.
you can go back to his stats, man, and talk about what Giovanni did.
Yeah, man. But you think about him. This is a kid who was a quarterback in high school, who say, you know what, I don't have any. I'm not a quarterback. I only played quarterback because my team needed me to, because I was the best athlete on the field. I don't have any film at defensive back. I don't have any film at receiver. And I don't know what his financial situation was, but obviously he didn't camp a whole lot. He goes to Henderson State, was a what? Is a what? Is a D2. And we're not even talking about D2s right now. As a D2, shows his ass, and then he goes on to UAPB, does the exact same thing, and now he's at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Jackson State had a guy did the same thing
There's his numbers
just
right
a
there.
year ago.
There's
Oh
his
man,
numbers.
come on.
70 catches, 1,215 yards, 17 and almost 17 and a half yards per reception, 9 touchdowns. And you were saying yourself, that quarterback couldn't throw.
Oh man, that son couldn't hit a doggone. He can throw a rocking O's.
But if he just
You
got
know.
it close, Giovanni was going to go get it. And his route running is elite. And what I liked the most about Giovanni was the route running stuff. His speed, his
Oh yeah.
intangibles are great. The sizes, all that stuff. But when you saw how crisp he could get in and out of those routes, that's where you know that it translates to that next level up, right?
Yeah, his
It
ball skills is
translates
crazy.
anywhere.
Ball skills is crazy, man. I
Yeah.
mean, that just his ball skills is second to none. I mean,
Zach says all 11 players on North Dakota State's 2021 offense are either about to be drafted or are on NFL/UFL rosters.
yes. And look, okay. Everybody gave Coach Prime hell last year when North Dakota damn near beat him. But you don't realize what the hell they was playing against. They were playing against a team that could probably p- be a damn contender in the damn Big 12.
Yeah. Oh, bro, they've been
It ain't
dominant.
no doubt about it.
Yeah, they've been dominant.
And the reason why they won't go to FBS because their location is so horrible when it comes to travel and everything. They just, I mean, right now, what they're doing works for them. They're guys that going to the NFL. So if I'm a guy close to North Dakota, California, wherever the situation is, man, I look at them very hard. Because you go back and look what they're doing right now and sending guys to the NFL. I look at them very hard.
Well, I keep coming back to this one. Look at Jared Verse and what he did in those last couple of years. And we're talking, defensive
Killed it.
line guy out of Albany. He had 17 tackles for loss in his first season in the ACC, 9 sacks. He had 9 sacks his next season in the ACC with 41 tackles and 12 and a half TFLs. Then he goes on, and this season, we're talking coming from Albany, goes to Florida State. 2 years later, he's the defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
The defensive rookie of the year. It's amazing that when you start talking about where these guys are, and again, you could talk about it all day long. In every era of NFL football, a lot of the best players are coming out of these smaller schools. And look, man, you can't tell me it's because they're not good enough whenever they get out of high school. It's because they're not getting identified.
Well, that's true. We talk about the Delta in Mississippi.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those kids don't have, not saying all. I'm not putting everybody in the category, but the mass majority of those kids don't have the money to do the bigger camps, or don't have anybody to take them to a lot of the elite camps.
Or don't
So
even
guess
know
what?
any better.
Well, I mean, some of them know because they got the internet. They just don't have the resources, man. And so when you get one of those kids to go to Delta Junior College or somewhere else like that, and then you mess around, you see this kid, you're like, man, where this kid from? He's from where? Yeah, okay, I got you. I got you. So I mean, that's the thing. That's what I want to get over to the parents. Quit going to places that not recruiting you. Your son 5'11", and he runs a 4.5. Guess what? That's not going to get him. And let's just say he's a defensive back. So yeah, that's okay, especially if he's not being recruited. But he can go to Jackson State, and maybe he grows from 5'11" to 6'1", 6'1", 200 pounds, and he get that 4.5 down to a damn 4.3. What's going to happen to that kid? If he got numbers, if he got productivity, guess what? His ass is gone, bro.
Well, we were talking to Big Bo a couple weeks back and talking about Billy Bowman. He's not oversized, but
Right.
he was talking about him as a what's the kid that plays for Tampa Bay, the safety that plays there, kind of undersized guy,
Right.
but he's one of the best safeties in the damn league.
In the
And
league.
and Billy's probably going to go 3rd, 4th round.
Yeah.
Even though, and he made himself some money, I think, in the
In the combine.
obviously in the combine and everything else, and then playing through there. But in the end, it's not always about the measurables either. But when you have the measurables,
It makes it is easier.
yeah, and then you have the skill and you're getting developed. But that's the point. I mean, I wanted to go back to this one last slide just to show the cams. The cams, bro. Look at Cam Scatterbo. I mean,
Man, crazy. Yeah,
we're
I
talking
remember when he
about
was
a
at
cat.
Sacramento State, man. He was killing it, man. That's one thing. That's why we want to,
Yeah.
just show people, hey, look, here it is in
Well,
black and white.
as the Texas Nightmare, and they're talking his shit already. But what did he do to Texas in the second half of the game and almost beat y'all's ass in that damn playoff? You're lucky they didn't get started till halftime
Yeah, I
because
mean,
y'all's asses would have went down. But he went 293 rushes. He had 1,700 yards, almost 6 yards a carry, 21 touchdowns on the ground, another 3 in receiving with 600 yards, 45 catches. First team All-American, offensive MVP in that Peach Bowl. You can't tell me that guy wasn't legit.
oh,
Cam Ward's over at Incarnate Word. Nobody knew anything about him coming out of Texas even. And he goes out there this year. He had a great year at Washington State the year before, but 4,300 yards, 39 touchdowns, just 7 interceptions. He
hey,
has over 18,000 yards in his college career.
man, that's a lot. That is a lot. That's a lot, man. I mean, here's the thing, and some of these schools, you mess around and play some of these lower level FBS schools,
Mhm.
mess around and play some of these schools, man, and North Dakota got where people won't play them.
Oh,
They won't play. I mean, in
well, no, they're
2024, there was
certainly not playing any group of 5 teams because they'll get their ass whipped.
Right. I mean, in 2024, there was 6 upsets. 6. Now, 2022, I think it was maybe 2023 was 4, 23 it was 8, 21 it was 12, but in 2013, I know that's been a little bit back. It was 16 freaking upsets, you know? So, there are players because they don't have the big TV deals. You don't get a chance to see them. They're not ESPN is not talking about them, 24/7. Don't mean that these players don't exist. And as you as a high school player right now, it's hard and harder um, right now to come out and get a doggone a P4 offer, or even just a group of 5 is making it even tougher. But you got to realize there are other options. Do not turn your nose down at these schools, because it's not where you want to be right now. Everybody got a different path. And I know, hey, and Jason, we know both know we done talked about this. It's the money. We know the kids want to come, they want to get the instant payday. But guess what? Man, you got a little bit more grind to do. You got a little bit more grind than this other guy. So
Sure.
guess what? You got to take
Yeah, to get
you
your
got to
money,
take this
get your
road that's
money.
not traveled
Yeah,
as much.
listen. I can't imagine what Giovanni was probably making at UAPB. I can. I
Zero.
mean, probably better.
Zero.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So whatever
Making
it
lunch
is,
money.
and now now you're coming in with the and look at John Material. Right now, he's the hottest thing smoking right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking. I don't understand where all this is coming from, to be quite honest with you. And it makes me a little shaky about it because I don't like it. I'd rather they just kept on sleeping. But I really would. But that being said, I think that when you've got a guy like that knows the offense really well, and you've got another kid, look, Sategna, he's already been in the SEC. He's fast. Deion Burks, if he's healthy, he's dangerous. We're gonna see some things out of the offense but that defense is what you got to worry about too.
Oh,
And
you
they've
talking
gone
about,
with
yeah, yeah,
some guys.
Oklahoma, yeah. You're right on that. I mean, that's gonna be that's gonna be dangerous just adding those guys. So the transfer portal is gonna help. I know Oklahoma is as well as any team because those spots needed to be filled. And Oklahoma's not the only team. I guarantee you, Ole Miss lives and dies off the transfer
The
portal.
point that we've been trying to make, I think, all the way around is that we've talked to how many recruits lately that are underrated all the way around.
Mhm.
Mikel Stephen just now got rated,
Oh yeah.
and he's got offers from Georgia and Ohio State and Oklahoma and Florida, Florida State, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Arkansas. Those are all his. Those are all his offers, and he just now got ranked.
And
You
that's a
know,
3-star at that.
yeah, and he's low. But the point is, what's more important? Getting identified by these good coaches in the SEC that know what they're looking at, or that some guy at 247 that he's stuck in a desk most of the time. Oh, we just haven't seen him yet. I don't want to hear that shit. You haven't seen him yet. You
Yeah. I mean, Jason hit.
who do you trust, Bill Beatonbow, or do you trust the guy at 247 that may not? You don't even know who he is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's definitely true. But you know, my thing of these kids, they what I'm the point I'm trying to make is, man, you do not have your goal is to make it to the highest level, and I get it. But don't turn your nose down because I've had in the last week, I had 2 parents that I've talked to, and Mercer, my guy, Melvin Davis, man, that does a lot of work with a lot of guys. Big shout out to Melvin. Me and him talk every day, and we had a kid that I was talking to the kid about certain schools, and like, man, coach, you ain't got nothing bigger. Like, how in the hell you gonna sit up here and ask me? I ain't got it. You don't have nothing. Here I am trying to help you, get in this school that's a FCS school that wants you, and you telling me, coach, do I have anything bigger? Hell no, I don't have anything bigger. You better take this and take the path that some of these other guys has taken. That's the point I'm trying to get to some of these parents. Some of these parents and some of these kids, and I'm on the 7-on-7 circuit. I do a lot with the mega camps. Got a mega camp coming up in June that we got over 50 colleges that'll be there. Don't turn your nose up at UAPB because UAPB just had to play one of the worst teams in the SWAC. Just got a kid paid. Just got him paid. Kevin Coleman Jr. that was at Jackson State with the Mississippi State. He's at Mizzou now. He upped his money. I guarantee you, Mizzou paid him more than Mississippi State did. No knock on Mississippi State, but I guarantee they paid him more.
I tell you, we ought to get the guys from Blue Bloods, and I do FBS Fridays with them a lot of times too. Over on it's FBS Fridays on Kobe's channel, man. And I'm just spacing it right now. But these guys are they're right in the middle of it. They know exactly who these guys are that are going. And when these guys that, you got idiots, the Texas guys are going to say what they're going to say because they're out there. They think that they're getting the perfect player. They're going to fall back to earth pretty quick. And it's going to be funny when they do, because you can sit there and talk all the shit you want to and just go by recruiting rankings. You can do that all you want. The truth is you're missing players if you're just going by the star ratings.
Can't do that.
Hey, what did we say about Eli Bowen? He was a 3-star, and Jaden Jackson, he was a 4, but in the top 300.
Yeah, he stayed a 3 for a
long time. And they're both freshman All-American last year.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say that they're recruiting at the bottom rung, and then you got the Riley cat in there saying they don't always pan out this, and that's not the truth. The truth is you don't know who they are until you know who they are. I'm just saying I trust coaches that you've seen develop players before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and most definitely. That's something that I don't get it. And I'm gonna say this: I got a lot of friends out there in the On3 world and the 24/7 ones. All of them are like that, not like that, but I can guarantee you, there's a lot of them that hasn't played any football, and they write and they get in their feelings sometimes when you say something to them. Hey, but it's all good, And let's dumb it down a little.
Let's just be real about it. It's an industry. They're getting paid.
And that 4-star kid that picks up the phone and answer every time they call and give them a story every time they call, guess what? That kid is going to stay in the rankings because that kid is going to get likes. He's giving them likes, and
the 5-star receiver that they dropped when the last time I was on your show. They had dropped him out of the
Caleb Cunningham.
Caleb Cumming. There cannot be a better one or two guys in the country than that guy watching him play. There ain't no way.
And his situation was, he got a little dinged up. He still was going to play in the Miss-Al game and
wanted to play the basketball with his boys.
He wanted to play basketball with his buddies and whatever the situation is. And we hadn't seen him, man. Well, get off your butt and go down there and check him out. You didn't see him. You didn't see him for the last 2 years.
Coach CJ Nixon out of Oklahoma. And he's Coach Venables and those guys think that he might be the best defensive end that they got. He wants to play basketball. He just won the state championship for his senior team a week ago. He hit the game winner to win the state championship in his senior year.
Yeah,
that's why he's not in the spring. So he's probably going to not be in the rotation this year. We're talking about a super athlete.
Yeah, I watched his film. He's
unbelievable.
He's a great athlete.
Very much so.
Troy University. Now Troy's they're a mid-major, but them jokers had 24. Jason, they had 24 JUCO transfers on their team last year. So what did that tell you?
No wonder they win all the damn time.
What did that tell you? And a lot of those JUCOs were what we call dropbacks. They went to D1, dropped back to JUCO for some reason, whatever the situation is, and now they're back, at Troy or wherever, But I'm saying this to let parents and let kids know, and anybody else up on the sound of our voices, the end all is not if you don't get a Power 4 offer, that's not the end of it. If and guess what, guys? Even if you don't make it to the Power 4, everybody can't play up there. You still can go to the league. There are a number of guys from the FCS that did not get drafted. They didn't get drafted, but guess what happened? They got a contract. I would rather be a damn free agent than be a 7th round pick. I'm being
Yeah, you
honest
ain't
with you,
wrong. You
bro.
ain't wrong there.
I'd rather be
You're
a
not
free
stuck
agent
in
than a
their little
7th round
Scottish
pick.
stuff, and yeah, if you make the team, you make the team. Yeah.
Right. And then my contract, I can negotiate my contract. I'm gonna get that cap when I'm a 7th round pick.
Mm.
So, my thing of it is we need to just kind of pour this knowledge into these people out here that in all fan bases, SEC, ACC, when you see one of your team pick up a FCS player, that doesn't mean that he's worthless. Because 9 times out of 10, when they got a lot of film on that guy. And a lot of times these schools play against big time schools and they get a chance to see him play at a high level. They got OU got a chance to see Giovanni against Arkansas. You see what I'm saying? So fan bases, we're talking to you right now. Don't get down just because your team pick up a couple FCS guys. That don't mean a damn thing. It means that your coaching staff probably did their damn homework. Because high school kids, look,
Look,
if you're a 3-star high school kid, guess what? You're probably an FCS player. If you're a low 3-star kid, you're probably an FCS player.
yeah. Look, I think that they come from all places, all over. I mean, there's guys that wouldn't know what a camp is there, especially down in the South, in those areas around Mississippi and LSU, where you talked about this the other day. There's some poor areas down there.
That's some that's
They can't afford to buy new cleats before football season.
yeah.
Much less
In some
go
places.
traveling across 2 states to go to a mega camp or something.
Well, and here's the thing: what a lot of parents don't understand. It's not that high school coach job to get your kid recruited. And I just want to put that out there. I hear that all the time. Well, coach, can you help us because his coach didn't do anything? Well, what you mean by his coach? Did a school come by the school and he told them that he didn't have anybody? Okay, I can see that, but
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, if he
He's got
gets
his own
someone,
team to worry about
he
besides
got
trying to
his
get
he
you
got his
recruited.
team to worry about,
Sure.
and during the summer he got his wife and whoever the situation is. He can't waste his whole summer taking kids to camps all summer long.
Right.
He might do one or two or something like that, but it's not his job. It's the parents' job. And it's the parents' job to look at your surroundings. If man, why would you? I told a parent, why would you waste your time and money going to Alabama camp? You going to give them $300 for nothing. Your son is not an Alabama recruit. So why in the hell would you take your damn son over there?
And you guys just have the mega camp at Jackson State, right?
Now we haven't had since June
Or it's
1st.
coming up, oh, in June.
Yeah,
Yeah.
June 1st. But why would you take your son to Alabama? He's not even getting letters or anything like that. When you can go to Delta State, which is a D2, go to Delta State and let them talk
Get
to you.
yourself a chance to play.
Give yourself a chance to play.
Yeah.
If you're in Mississippi, hey, you got junior colleges you can go to. Go visit those junior colleges have camps. Go to their camp. Go out in Texas. There's a lot of junior colleges in Texas. You got to understand your wheelhouse. You got to understand where you fit, and that's the problem that I think a lot of kids are having, that their parents are not truthful with their kids'
They're telling that they're better
abilities.
than they are and all
They're
that stuff
telling
at
them that
that
they're better
moment.
than they are and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. When you're
And
not
and
that
like Kimberly
size.
can say, some are raised by their grandparents. and completely out the loop. I've seen that 1,000 times.
I can tell you that most, from my limited experience with trying to help people get recruited, most parents, even if they played sports in college, don't know shit about recruiting.
Because it's so different, man.
It is.
It's I had a guy that played at Ole Miss, played in the NFL,
Mhm.
and I got to talking to him about his son, you know, doing some different things, playing on my 7-on-7 team, and he was like, "Man, we don't need none of that." I was like, "Huh?" He said, "We don't need none of that." He said, "I didn't have none of that." He's younger than me. He said, "I didn't have none of that," and I made it. I said, "Okay." But guess what happened that boy's junior year? I ran into him coming out the store. He's like, "Hey, Dent, man, what's going on?" I'm like, "Hey, man, what's happening?" He's like, man, I knew he was trying to get to it. He said, "Man, I tell you what, man." He said, "Man, this thing different." I said, "What you talking about?" He said, "Man, this recruiting." He said, "I was talking to you last year about it." He said, man, this stuff ain't the same." And I just kind of looked at him like, "Yeah, I tried to
Coach, how
tell
much
you
do you
that,
think that the
you know."
NIL and portal and all that stuff is gonna change the landscape overall too? I mean, I think that now you would almost if you're not a high 4-star or 5-star kid, you're probably gonna start seeing more of those guys having to go to these smaller schools. Even
Man,
3-star guys, a lot of them maybe.
man, I know some 3-star guys are at JUCOs right now. I'm serious, and that can play.
Yeah.
And my nephew is one. He's at a JUCO right now, and not because he had a few FCS offers. He
Right.
had a couple offers that one FBS offer that at the last minute they didn't pull the offer. It wasn't a committable offer from the get go. And but he's at a junior college and doing damn well, and probably gonna be at the top of the food chain in January. I mean in December
Well,
because he's had a year in a program.
right. You've gone and you've gotten in a weight program, in their nutrition program. You've been coached at that level, and you've proven that you can deal with it at that level. Now,
Right.
JUCO is, I think that the JUCO thing, we talked about that a little bit a few weeks back too.
JUCO tough as hell, bro.
It is tough as hell, but I also think that this is a big deal for these kids that may be a little bit of a late bloomer too, because think about it. We start, I mean, look, Trent, Trent came out of, even coming out of where he came out of with, he was a 3-star guy.
Hmm.
And here he is, the silverback, baby. He's
Some people
Lane
still
Johnson.
need.
Lane Johnson he was a quarterback at JUCO and he's a
Right,
Hall of Famer now too.
dude. Some people need a little bit more developing.
Sure.
It's just
But
like
the beauty of it is now that's not gonna count against your eligibility, so you can go over there. It's a free deal to go
it's a
get
free ride to
developed.
go get the one, and
Mhm.
that's one reason why my nephew chose the JUCO because it's a free year. It's a free year because
Shout out to Logan
FCS is
Lipton
going to
for
be there.
thanks for the $10 super chat, my man. We
Oh
appreciate that.
yeah, but that's going to be that's a 1 year deal, a 1 semester deal to be honest with you, and you don't lose a year and you get credibility of being in a program. So I think he went there at 205 and he came home this weekend. That joker's at up to about 220. So now he's going from 6'2", 205 to 6'2", 220, maybe 225. Now, what does he look like as to a FBS guy now? That's a little bit more recruitable guy than that 205 guy that had never played and at a college level. Because one thing, like we talked about earlier before we came on, you're going to have film. You're going to have productivity. Go get the productivity. I tell any of you young guys, go get that productivity. Once you have that and you can put that and say, here's my resume, guys. This is what I done at the college level. Yeah, it's not FBS, but it's still at the college level. So
Just being in the weight program and at the college level is a big deal for those guys, man.
oh man, and you know, being a kid, you done had boys, I done had boys.
Mhm.
They come home, they want to do this, but when you're made to eat 3 damn good meals, 4 good meals a day,
Yeah.
you're made to eat, not you ain't,
Certain amount of calories, certain amount of
certain amount of
carbs.
calories,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you ain't going to the refrigerator getting a sandwich and eating some popcorn, and I'm good. Now you eating good now. Even at JUCOs, you got some JUCOs got hell of a facilities, bro.
Well, they put them on that meal plan. That's one of the biggest things about getting this whatever scholarship you get at a JUCO, right?
Right. And
Is
look,
that it usually comes with that meal card in, and that's the biggest thing for those guys.
well, I'm gonna tell you this, and I heard this from 2 recruits. East Mississippi Community College ended up talking to a couple parents about NIL. Apparently, East Mississippi has NIL money.
Everyone
Now
has.
you
Yeah,
go look at how many NFL guys have came from East Mississippi.
I know. I know.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean,
A
they
wild
got a
ass coach of theirs too.
oh yeah, I mean he's crazy as a damn shot cat. But but it's one of those things. If they can, let's just say this, Jason, they get 4 guys that played in the NFL that say, you know what, I'm gonna give $100,000 to my JUCO that helped me out. That $400,000 at a JUCO, do you know what that does for them in getting a player?
Well, think
I
about
don't care
Cam
if
with
it ain't but
Green.
$500-$600 a month.
Cam had been at Florida, got in that trouble. He
Yeah.
needed somebody to step up and take him. And I mean, he
Well,
goes over there and blows it up at Blinn. He always talks about Blinn still.
yeah. I mean, everybody that know, what's his name? Was it Kendall Doby? I think didn't he come from a JUCO? And he talks about how tough
Oh, bro, and
JUCO made him to
yeah,
what he is right now.
yep. He went to JUCO in Oklahoma,
Right.
and he's
So,
from Ohio.
right. So what I'm saying is this right here. Parents, 7-on-7 coaches, trainers,
Yeah.
man, quit pushing your kid to be at this P4 when you
But
know
it
he's
has to
not.
be that because if you're
That's not the end all end all. And I want parents to understand that. Give yourself some grace. Give your child some grace.
how many dudes do you know that hit their growth spurt after high school?
Yeah. A lot. A lot. Look
I
at
I I did
look
too.
at
I
David.
know a
Look
bunch
at David Robinson. Look at
of
David Robinson.
right?
One of the best, the Admiral, one of the best
Hell,
centers
Anthony
ever
Davis
played.
was like 6 foot and shot up to 6'11" in 1 year.
Look at the worm,
Mhm.
Dennis Rodman. So give yourself some time, parents. Now, parents, I'm gonna say this. Y'all listen to me good. If daddy you 5'3" and mama you 5'2", you better stay your ass at a JUCO cause you ain't finna be 6'5". Well, he gonna grow a little bit. The doctor said he has some space in between him. So man, let me tell you something. His ass might be 5'6". You better take that JUCO off and go with it, man. I'm just saying. I'm making a joke, but I'm being serious about it. You got to look at your pool gene. You got to look at your pool gene.
Yeah,
And
Northeastern Oklahoma in Miami.
yeah, so
Mhm.
those type things, man, that I really, 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 kind of want to express to the parents, man, express to the people out there. And like I say, man, I want to get that word out.
Yeah.
I want to get that word
There's more than one path. I used to tell my son he was a golfer, and there's the kids that go out there on the AJGA tour and all that kind of stuff, and they shoot up the list. Or you might go win Tiger win and won the US Amateur 4 times in a row. That shit don't happen ever almost to anybody, right?
out.
Not everybody has Tiger's path. I know I covered the PGA Tour for a long time and watched guys that never went to college. They're kicking around on mini tours, just playing. And some of those dudes turned into some of the best golfers in the world. and they're getting paid. It's just it depends on the sport we're talking about, but it's not just about where you went to school or where you did this or where you did that. You just have to you got to get it out of the dirt is the point.
That's the point. You gotta if you're a kid and and I'm not just saying you're undersized,
Right.
but if you are undersized and you got some shortcomings, you got to be willing to be better. You got
Or
to be
outwork
every
everybody,
day.
bro. Outwork everybody.
You gotta outwork
Look at
everybody
Drake
every day.
Stoops. Look at Drake Stoops, man. I mean, he's
Yeah,
still doing it. He's still working his ass off. I mean,
yeah,
the chances are he's not going to get the greatest opportunity because he's just not a very big guy.
yeah. But he puts the work
But
in.
he's got a heart of a lion, though.
Right, right.
You know,
Yeah, I mean you what was the
Julian
other
Edelman. I think about
yeah,
Julian
there you
Edelman. That
go.
guy's a stud
My
ass
mouth.
athlete, right?
That's exactly who I was finna talk about was Edelman. You just think about, you know, he was a quarterback, I believe, at some little small school.
Yeah, he went to
Was it a D3
Kent
school,
State,
D2?
Kent State, Kent
Oh,
State.
Kent State. That's right, Kent State. That's where he was at.
Mhm.
But
Hell,
yet
he
it's
played
still,
everything with the Patriots though. DB, receiver,
I mean, just an athlete.
mhm,
Just I
everything but
remember
quarterback.
I was gone at the time and Alcorn played Tennessee Chat. And it was on it might have been on BT or something at that time. And I seen this damn dude running down the damn field, and we had a receiver we called 6'6". He ended up getting drafted also. Um, but I'm like, man, who is this guy that just we beat him, but it was like the score was like crazy. I'm like, man, they can't stop this guy. It was freaking Terrell Owens. You know, I mean, look, I can tell you a story about two guys that I played against that were just
We played
crazy.
with Steve McNair.
I played with Steve McNair and John Theory, both first round draft picks
Yeah,
from an FCS school.
yeah.
But we were playing Jackson State, and man, I was what you call a wedge buster back in the day. They got it where you can't make the wedge and everything like that now, but you
Yeah,
had to
I
find a
know that guy.
linebacker
I
and
know
some
that guy.
crazy.
Woo!
Yeah, so man, man, we went running down the
Kamikazes is what they called your asses.
man, we
Damn.
went running down the field, and somehow that wedge come and I got right through that wedge the first time. And I can't remember whether I made the tackle or whatever the situation was. But the next time I went down there, it was a guy by the name of Lester Holmes, first round draft pick with the Eagles,
I
played
remember
at Jackson State.
I remember that dude.
Man, but right before I got ready to go in that wedge, man, damn Lester lit my ass up like the 4th of July.
Mhm.
And so I'm coming back to the sideline, man. I'm about, you know, saying stars
Doozy,
or
you
whatever.
don't even know where you are at that
Yeah,
moment.
so
Yeah.
I remember my partner Kurt White was like, Dent, boy, you got hit by Lester. I said, Lester who? He said, man, Lester Home. He said, man, that dude gonna be a first round draft pick. I'm like, man, shoot, man. I mean, I didn't know anything of I didn't know who I knew Lester, but I didn't know he was gonna be that kind of guy. But that was every Saturday when I played FCS ball, you lined up against a Cornelius Williams, who's a Hall of Famer. You lined up against a Michael Strahan, who's a Hall of Famer. You played against a guy like Jimmy Smith, who should be in the Hall of Fame. Those type of guys, man, you saw every week. You saw Jake Reed, who played opposite of Chris Carter at Minnesota. Hell of a ball plays. Every other Saturday, you get to line up against a guy like that in FCS football. So we know those are days are not the same, but they still have athletes like that. That the only thing difference now is they're not going first round. Their first round draft pick is going to the FBS. So they're getting their money a little bit before. So instead of them staying 4 years, because man, Steve McNair, if this day and time, Steve McNair would have never stayed. Somebody would have paid him out. we never would have had him. Um, Cedric Tillman, his son played at Tennessee. He's a coach at Bishop Gorman up in Nevada. He would have never stayed.
That's Vegas. That's Las Vegas.
Right. Yeah. So he would have never stayed. Terrence Small, 9 years in the league, played with us, got a Super Bowl ring with the Patriots, played with the Saints. If this day and time, those cats would have been gone.
Mhm.
They wouldn't. So that's what you have. If you go and look at the guys like some of the guys now, like Cam Ward, yeah, if he had stayed there, I mean, we know what kind of arm he has, but being able to go from a Iconic Word to Washington State to Miami,
What a huge that's like a meteoric rise, right?
yeah. I mean, it is, and I'm not
Of course,
down
he
in the
played for
coach.
GJ Kinney at Incarnate Word, so that's a great coach to play for.
Yeah,
Then you get
yeah,
to go
yeah.
play for Arbuckle at Washington State, and now, and I mean, you had a lot of talent there at Miami. I don't know how great they were as far as their coaching was
Well, I'm
concerned.
just I'm just the facilities and the access to different things to get your body where it needs to be. I'm quite sure Miami has that compared to Iconic Word and some other places. So that's what I'm saying. Don't turn your nose up at Jackson State. Don't do that because guess what? You can go there and play 2 years and be gone. You take Travis Hunter and you take Shador Sanders. They both played there, but guess what? Those two alone was enough to win a Black College National Championship because they didn't do it. They lost both years when they tried to do it. And yeah, they had numbers, but they had some games where people shut their ass down too. So that shows you there is talent there. And don't sleep on a school because it's not a SEC or a Big Ten or ACC or Big 12 school. Don't do that. You still have the opportunity to make it there. Now, just let me ask you this: hypothetically, you had a kid, cousin, nephew, or whatever, and this kind of a tricky question, and he had an opportunity to go play at let me just see Sanford, which is over in Birmingham, which is a FCS, and he had a chance to go
It's a
play
good
at EMT.
FCS team right there too.
Yeah, but he had a chance to go play at Gulf Coast, which put out a lot of kids, so East Mississippi. Now you got a tough ass decision
Yeah, you do.
because you got a tough
Well,
ass
because
decision.
JUCO's one and done, but I think it's one and done everywhere at this point. It doesn't even matter. But I do think who are
But
you
it's a one and
who's the
done with
best,
it's
who's
a
the
one
better
and done with no
competition? Who's the
yeah,
better
but
competition, I guess?
well, no, man, because JUCO got some of the I mean, it's in
I
spurts. They don't have the many. But
Right.
what I'm saying is this right here.
No, but JUCO is they're generally speaking, JUCO guys are D1 guys, right? They're
Most
D1
yeah,
talent.
a lot of them are a lot of them could play there, and a lot of them are solid D2 guys because they just don't have the measurables. You understand what I'm saying? But if you got a kid, this is what I'm saying. If you have a kid, what do you tell them? Do you go to Sanford and bet on yourself and try to get to Auburn or somewhere, or do you tell them to go to JUCO and play a year while that year don't even count, and you can start your recruitment all over again? So I'm just saying, what would you do? That's a hard ass decision to
It is
make.
a hard decision, but I think that's when it comes down to the guys that are recruiting you and the relationships that you're building with those guys and what have they done as far as development, Where have they sent
Yeah,
guys?
man.
If you're really trying to go to the next level. Because here's what I would say. I think some people are probably fine with playing Division two, FCS, whatever, and sticking with that. And maybe you're not going to make it to look, the chances
yeah,
of making it to
that's
the
true.
league out of Division one, out of the SEC are still slim.
It's slim. It's slim. But what right now the focus is not right now the
Yeah.
focus is not making it to the NFL. Making it to a
Right.
P4 is just like making it to the NFL because of the money to some of these kids. Now you take a roster like Mississippi Valley, who was horrible won one game. They still had a kid transfer out and go to a FBS school. You look at UAPB, who was horrible.
Horrible.
They had 3.
Trash.
They got 3,
Hey,
and
man.
one of them is at
You got
Oklahoma.
you gotta find a place to play, man. And here's the other thing that out of everybody that the people that are still saying things about Giovanni, you're not paying attention, first off, because he may not have had offers from every SEC school. Every one of them recruited him, and he was basically until you brought his name up on the show that day, and then EJ got on him. Arkansas they thought they had him locked up because they were being quiet about it. They didn't want him to slip away. They thought they had him locked up. As soon as Oklahoma found out about it, then LSU's on him. And LSU, I think, had been on him before. Apparently, his mama wasn't a fan of BK and what was going on at LSU.
And he ended up with a lot
He
of
was
offers
supposed to
before
go to
he
Ole
come.
Miss. Yes, he had
Right.
offers from Ole Miss. He had an offer from Mizzou. He had, I think, pretty much everybody except for he hadn't gone to Georgia. He had talked to Georgia. He didn't go there or
Right.
to. I don't think he went to Ole Miss either.
I think he had
That's
one
what
from
Rick said.
Miami.
Yeah,
I
he
think
had a
he
lot of
went.
opportunities. So
Mhm.
to act like it was just Oklahoma that gave him that offer is
Opportunity.
silly talk. It was just
That's
a better
crazy.
opportunity than what he had at Arkansas,
Mhm.
or at least according to that's how he felt.
Yeah, I mean, my deal with all these guys, man. I wish all of them the best of luck, but
Care where you end up if you're trying to make it to the next level, man.
I
Much
mean
love
that's
to you, man. Good
much
luck.
love
Go
to you.
work
That's
at it,
what,
man.
go work at it. Go try to get it. You know, and here's another thing on top of that, Jason. It's
Mhm.
not only the playing part of it. It's academic. It's
Absolutely.
it's communication. Is
Becoming a man.
connections. It's
Yeah.
connections. I mean, uh, Eastern Illinois or whatever the situation, they don't have the same connects that Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Ole Miss has. Even if you don't get that opportunity to play football, your connections with the alumni base and people base can push you in the right direction when it comes to, job opportunities.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of other stuff out here besides football making it to the FBS. It's not all football and it's not all money.
Mhm.
Because if you can make it to one of these schools that have a program like OU with the sole mission and then you get a chance to do a damn game intern on Wall Street. Every program does not have those type of opportunities. So a lot of kids want to, hey, I need to get here so I can get everything. If I can't get to the NFL, I want everything else that school has to offer.
Right.
And that's
It's
you
all
know,
that's all part of the college experience, isn't it? Whether you're an
yes,
athlete or not.
right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, and those schools are gonna have a lot more connections, man. It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
It's the nature of the beast. You're gonna, I mean, you going to a school that got 3,000 people per year enrolled. Another school got 30,000 with a freaking law school and your medical school attached to it, all the other kind of stuff. I mean, your opportunities of who you're gonna meet that you might hook up with later down the road when it comes to business, man, it's
Yep.
crazy. Almost like being it's almost like the fraternity part of it. You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, and
You went
the
to OU,
deeper you are into that fraternity side of it, which you know how
right?
that
And
is,
that
it's not that easy to get into a lot of that stuff depending on who you are,
nah,
you know?
but what I'm saying is that is
And
a
it's not
part
for
of
everybody
it.
either, but
No, it's not for everybody. But what I'm saying is these kids want that opportunity. They want that opportunity to get the whole experience from a FBS, not
might as well
just
get everything
football.
you can out of it.
Just think of. I had a kid that a coach was telling me about. This is a true story. He was like um, you're not gonna come play for us. We're we this, we're blue blood, this right here, and I ain't not gonna call the school name. He's like, nah, I'm not coming. He said, why? Why would you choose them over us? And both of them were FBS schools. He said, because I can get more money over there. I know I'm not going to the NFL. But I can get y'all want to give me 150 when I can get 200 over here and bank my money for the next 3 to 4 years and start my own business. You understand what I'm saying? So I mean, it's so much. Everybody's not going trying to get there to make it to the NFL. Some people are going there trying to get a damn jump on life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's the whole thing is that that's look, again, I think that yeah, when you go in as a Division One athlete, I think your hope and expectation is to go to the NFL.
It's
But
true.
I think that you have to take full advantage of everything that all the particularly you go to a place like you go to a place like Texas, you go to play in the SEC, you go to a program like that that is going to you're going to be a part of that network from here on out, right? As
Yes.
long as you do right by it. So I think that's I think it's big a part of it as anything else because again, what's the percentage of college players that make it to the NFL? It's like 1%, 2%, something.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
it's a little higher in the SEC because you're in the SEC, but it's still overall of every college athlete, 1 or 2% gets in, which I mean, look, man, it's just not in the cards for most people.
Mm-mm.
Doesn't mean you can't be a fantastic player in college, but if you're putting all your eggs in that one basket, you're screwed.
You're screwed.
If it
And
doesn't
and
work
and,
out,
and,
you're
and
screwed.
and that's why I brung up um, you know, other reasons why. And I've talked to some kids that are really smart and some parents that's really smart. I got a kid right now that I'm helping, the 6'6" kid that you've seen me talk about, the big receiver. And his dad is an educator, so his dad understand. We're not worried about whether he make it to the league. We worried about him, getting a great education and meeting a lot of good people. And if that's in the cards, it's going to be there. But he's looking at on the education side who he could meet at a Ohio State. What kind of people that you're going to run into when you're dealing with these type of schools, and nothing against, not saying that you got millionaires come out of all kind of schools, but it's just the connections are there because you got more people, more numbers, and just it's easier,
Sure. Sure. I mean,
So
I mean, just to, I mean, making a joke about it, but I mean, hell, wh- why would Seth have gotten that job last year as OC
yeah,
other than being in the network?
being in the network, being in the network,
His
and
daddy was
being
in the network too,
yeah. I mean, that's what it is, man. Like I said, man, this is something that we talked about it for a couple of days, and we wanted to bring this to the people, man. And like I say,
and I
this is
enjoyed this
something,
conversation too. I think
man.
it's an important conversation to continue having. Is that look? I don't have a problem with the recruiting services. I think they do a service, but to act like it's a complete inexact science just because you may be one of the programs
Hmm.
that's in good with the owner, Sheldon Terry or something like that, or somebody, right? Fine. But in the end, the only number that's a guarantee is that 50% or over blue chip ratio.
Yes.
The rest of it doesn't matter.
Hmm. It doesn't. It does not matter.
No.
It does not matter, man. That's something that you know. It's a hard sell for some people, but before we get out of here, there's a couple things I want to tell the parents. You got you got camp seasons come. You got camps coming up. You got practices coming up. If you can get to a practice and they let you come to a practice, you need to go. That way, after practice, you can talk to some coaches, some different things like that. And you got spring games coming up. Get to those spring games. so you can meet that staff, talk with those staff. Go where you want it. Don't go where you want to go. Cause going where you want to go don't mean a damn thing. You're
if they don't
wasting
want you.
gas money. You wasting food. You wasting hotel money. You just wasting damn time. Point blank. You wasting time. But look, I want to appreciate, man. We got a lot of people right there in your chat, man. Got a lot of people in the chat tonight.
Yeah.
Want to appreciate y'all guys, man. Look, if you're not on my channel, you're on the Hall of Fame, go over there to the Gridiron Insight, man, and hit
Make
that
sure you
like
get to
button,
both
man,
of
and
them. Make
subscribe
sure you
to
get
it,
to
man. We
both of them.
appreciate it.
We
Yeah.
definitely have a few people that are there on your channel as well. It's we're still working on getting you lined out and stuff, and we got to
Oh
put out
man,
some
that's
more
all good.
content there. But that's why I've been pumping more content that way, and we'll get it dialed in. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
no
guys,
doubt, man.
make sure you get over there and check it out on the Gridiron Insight. Hey, you guys got to go check out the Blue Bloods as well.
Yeah.
Blitz
We're
City
gonna try. Hey,
Podcast.
look, man, we need to try to get a collab with them, man.
Those
Try
dudes
to
are
work
those
something
dudes
out.
are they're solid, man. They
Yeah,
they
we'll try to get a collab with them, man. And I got a
they
couple
got great
guys
shows, man. Great
in
shows.
in the recruiting business that does really well. They're not vultures or nothing like that, man. They just do really
Oh
well
man.
with the kids, man. But
Kobe and
look,
Zach both played college ball.
okay,
And so
okay,
yeah, they're and I'm not positive about Zach. I feel like Kobe played at I want to say he played at maybe South Carolina State, maybe.
okay,
And I'm not
okay.
positive
Yeah, I
about
like I
Zach.
like to talk to him then.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like to talk to him. But hey, Pete, we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Jason, man, always, man, I appreciate you, bro.
Bro, it's always good
And
to be here, man.
we're gonna say this right here. Hey, stay up, be kind, be fair. Peace.
Horns down. Oh, I didn't do it. I'll tell you what. Oh.